Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to another video. I truly think you're going to want to stay till the end of this video. We are going to be discussing the benefits of berberine for clear and glowing skin. Stick around. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about very briefly before we jump right into all the goodies here is, what is berberine? Compound found in various plants, including barberry, and has been studied for its potential health benefits. I do want to preface this by saying I am not a doctor. I am not a dermatologist. I am simply someone who is extremely passionate about helping others achieve their very best skin. I am a fitness professional, ballet teacher. I'm a business owner, and I am somebody who has struggled since my early teens with cystic and hormonal acne, terrible acne scarring, and I think I found a wonderful solution to share with you. When I started getting acne when I was around 13 or 14 years old, it was pretty mild at that time, but it increasingly turned into very deep, painful cystic acne that would really develop along my jawline here and kind of around this area into my cheeks and around my chin. And it would flare up hormonally about every single month, and I would have to go to the dermatologist and they would give me injections, painful injections into an already very painful cystic acne spot to help it go down. Now, these would generally kind of clear it up, but I'd have to take time out of my day. It was expensive to go do it. I don't think our insurance at the time really covered dermatology, so my parents were spending a lot of money to do these injections. Now, as I got a little bit older, they started recommending that I take Accutane or that I get on antibiotics, amoxicillin, and taking steroids and things like that every time that I would have a flare-up. And now this was in the mid-90s into basically up until I was about 35 years old. And so I was constantly in this vicious cycle of taking antibiotics, clearing my skin for about a month or so. It would come right back. I'd go back to the dermatologist. I'd get a series of injections. I'd get prescribed more antibiotics. They'd give me a steroid. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be anxious. All of these things that can come from taking medication. Now, I never opted in for taking Accutane, but Accutane was recommended to me multiple times. Okay. Now, Accutane, if you've researched it or talked to your doctor before, it's a very potent medication, okay? It dries basically everything from the inside out. There's a lot of things that go into taking Accutane, and you have to be evaluated very regularly. You usually have to be on 2 types of birth control because some of the side effects can include birth defects. It can cause really, really dry skin, cracking lips. Accutane can cause nosebleeds because of the excessive drying that it is doing inside your body. Some of the other side effects that people do talk about are muscle and joint pain. I think one of the most important ones to talk about is that Accutane can be known to affect mood and cause depression, anxiety, sometimes some even very serious life-threatening side effects, okay? So this is not a medication that you should just go into taking very lightly. You should do your research. You should try, in my opinion, my personal opinion, okay? And like I said, I'm not a doctor, but just knowing that there are other alternatives and natural resources that you can try first before going the Accutane route, I would highly suggest it. Now, I want to talk briefly about apple cider vinegar, okay? This is something that I've done a lot of videos about. I'm very passionate about the Nature's Truth brand. This is what actually introduced me to more natural products and clearing my skin at about 34, 35 years old. And just for reference, I'm 42 now. So the very brief background story, if you want to hear more about this, you can go back to some of my other videos. They'll be linked in the description box. A client of mine, I was teaching Bar Fitness. She works in the health and wellness industry, and she recommended that I take apple cider vinegar pills, not the liquid, because it can have some effects, on your enamel of your teeth. She said, go and get Nature's Truth. This is the most potent brand. Take this 3 times a day. And I was consistently taking that for up until about 4 months ago. My skin really, truly loved it, and it cleared up, and I was seeing little to no acne, occasionally here and there, as my hormonal cycles would change. I am going into perimenopause now, and all of those things are fluctuating pretty much on a daily basis at this point. I would start to see a little bit of that acne coming back. 4 months ago, I randomly, amazingly, I'm so thankful that I found berberine online while I was doing a little bit of research for perimenopause symptoms and specifically anxiety symptoms. And I magically found a study about berberine. I went and bought it, and I have never looked back. My skin has never been more clear. I am telling you, from the moment I started taking it, I am seeing zero acne, even in the times where I'm feeling my worst, when I'm having hormonal changes or, I'm getting close to having my monthly cycle. And I am 150% convinced that it is from the berberine, okay? So apple cider vinegar, yes, it is an amazing product. If you can take it regularly, you will see some really, really good results from this. I feel confident in directing you in that path. I feel pretty confident directing you to start with apple cider vinegar. Berberine is not widely studied. It is considered to be this magical, potent, pill, if you will, at the current moment. There's a lot of people starting to talk about it. It's gaining some traction. I noticed a lot of things besides just clear skin. Okay. I noticed that my anxiety went down. It's known for its cardiovascular benefits. I was having heart palpitations. I have another video all about how I have not had one single heart palpitation since I started taking berberine. It is truly, in my opinion, so worth it. You start to think about taking Accutane. My recommendation, my very uneducated but very passionate recommendation from personal experience would be to try either one, starting with apple cider vinegar, or two, starting with berberine. Now, the side effects to berberine can be somewhat mild, but you do need to talk with your healthcare professional if you are taking any other medications or if you are breastfeeding. Anything like that. Very important to let them know that you want to start taking berberine. Okay. Some of the side effects can include nausea, diarrhea, constipation, and just a sense of maybe feeling a little bit upset in your stomach. Now, with apple cider vinegar, if you're taking the pill form, the powder form, you probably aren't going to notice too much. Maybe here and there a little bit of an upset stomach if you're not used to taking it, but it's generally tolerated very well. Okay, so let's make a very quick comparison here. We talked about Accutane. We talked about how there can be some very serious side effects to that. Some of the side effects, as I mentioned, could include very dry skin. Now, when you look at berberine, for instance, you are not going to experience that dry skin at all, which means you're not going to have potential nosebleeds. You're not going to have cracked lips or dry skin. You're not going to be feeling that uncomfortableness. You really won't even notice probably that you're taking it. Now let's talk about a serious side effect that could be associated with taking the Accutane with the mood disorders, the depression. I personally have noticed that with the berberine, my anxiety is completely at bay. I don't feel anxious anymore. As I mentioned, I'm not having that rapid heartbeat or heart palpitations. With my perimenopause symptoms, they're basically diminished at this point. I can very confidently say I've taken this product for almost 4.5 months now. If you are weighing the options here, I'm still going to go with the berberine. Now, I've talked about in just a video I posted yesterday, which once again will be linked in the description box below. I also talked about creating good skincare habits and everything that really goes into that. Some products, foundations, face washes, routines and things that I implemented to really take my skincare to the next level. I think I have even a whole video about how I got rid of my acne scarring a few years back. I'd love for you to subscribe because I do love to share skincare, and I will continue to share as I am so passionate about even just helping one person. So once again, do your research. Decide if apple cider is the way you want to go. Decide if berberine is the way you want to go. Speak to your healthcare provider, your dermatologist, and come up with a plan that will work for you before you start taking Accutane, okay? I hope this video finds you well. I hope you got just a little bit of information and education or something that you didn't know before. It's very easy to go on the internet. It's very easy to ask ChatGPT these days and get a little bit of ideas, or at least a place to start off from when you go to see your doctor. I love you guys so very much. I promise you, your best skin is right around the corner. Stay committed, stay focused, keep your head up because you will get your skin under control. I love you so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video.